Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I hope you guys are all well. My name is Diakat Zaman and we're going through Surah Naba and we're trying to understand the Balagha in the Quran. So for those of you guys who have been following these videos, I hope you guys have been benefiting from this. If you have any questions, any comments, please leave them in the comments below so that I can improve further videos. So let's start off with this then. So the first word we have over here is anzalna. The word anzalna, it means to send down. Anzalna, we sent down, and it's a past verb. So we have over here sent down, and we also have the word we. This is indication towards Balagha itself, using a past tense, using we, magnificence, majesty as well. Min here is actually supposed to come at the end over there. So here we have something known as taqdeem taking place. Words have been brought forward. Then we have the word al-mu'sirat. Mu'sirat, it literally is a plural, and it has various meanings which we're going to look at in a bit. So the word mu'sirat is actually an adjective for a noun that has been removed. So there used to be a noun before the mu'sirat, now it's been removed, and this is a technique that's used in Arabic language very frequently. For instance, if I say I saw the strong man, let's say I saw the strong man. Now in Arabic you would omit the man, so you would delete the man and you just say I saw the strong. This is actually considered to be more powerful than actually mentioning the described word itself. So here hadaf is called hadaf, omitting, deleting, removing has occurred over here. And going back to this plural then, al-mu'sirat is a sound feminine plural. The sound feminine plural itself comes for various types. So the Arabs use this word to express like a multitude, a spectrum of mu'sirat, you can say. So what does the word mu'sirat mean? I think I'll explain that in a little bit. So the word mu'sirat is actually from the word asara, which means to squeeze, squeezing like a fruit. You squeeze a fruit, take out the juice. This is called asr. Salat al-asr is also from there similarly. However, there's a different meaning over there. Thajjajan is the next word. We'll come back to the word mu'sirat. Thajjajan actually is a severity. It's talking about the water gushing down severely, just like when a person, cuts the throat of an animal, slaughters an animal, and the blood just gushes out. It kind of like pours out. This is called thajja. So there's actually imagery that's being created over here. You can see the similitude between the water gushing from the sky, and you can also see this kind of image of an animal being slaughtered and the blood just gushing out. So thajjajan, it creates imagery over here. In Arabic grammar, in Balagha rather, we call this taswir al-fanni. Now this is an hyperbole, a mubalagha, thajjajan, right? So thajja is the word, thajjajan, mubalagha, and this comes for two possible reasons. One is to describe the heaviness of the rain itself gushing from the sky, and the second, thajja, also comes for muta'addi, to imply a word which has an effect on something else, right? So this is a muta'addi word, and it means to push. So it's not saying that the water is gushing itself, it's actually saying that the water is pushing something else. So you have two meanings that are being created in the mind over here with this balagha. Now the word mu'sirat, going back to this, it has actually three meanings that the Mufassirin have mentioned. Number one is close to rainfall. So this word is used when a young girl, for the first time, she starts to have her menstruation, and just about when she can feel her bleeding is just about to come out, that is actually known as a mu'sirah. The Arabs would call that a mu'sirah, a woman who is very close to her menstruation. So it's kind of like, again, imagery is being created over here. You can imagine the clouds are accumulating above us in the skies, and it's just about to pour down with rain, and you can sense it. This is the word mu'sirah. Second meaning of mu'sirat is actually to become dha asratin. Dha asra, it means becomes something that holds squeezing. In other words, it holds the potential to squeeze now. So before this moment, the clouds or the sky or whatever, it didn't have the potential for this, and now all of a sudden it's in a position where it qualifies for this. So mu'sirat means that. And the third meaning of mu'sirat, they say, is the wind itself. So the winds are responsible for the the rain coming down from the sky itself. So these are three meanings that the Mufassirin have mentioned, and you can check these meanings out in Ruhul Ma'ani and Lubab and Tahreed wa Tanweer by Tahir ibn Ashur. So anzalna min al-mu'sirati ma'an thajjajan. If you want to translate this now, trying to encapsulate the balagha in it as well, we'd probably say something like this. Anzalna, we sent down, Allah is saying, our might, power, might. We sent down min al-mu'sirat, directly from the mu'sirat. So there's something in the sky which is a mu'sirat. It kind of allows the water to come out, or it squeezes, or it reaches such a density which converts the gaseous water into liquid water and makes it fall down from the sky in a gushing way, which is like a whole factory itself that Allah has created in the sky. Ma'an thajjajan, and it's water that is just gushing down. Thajjajan, right? And it doesn't kill people, it benefits the land, subhanallah. There's so much kind of precision, intricacy in these words, that if a person just thinks about, kind of goes on Google or something and searches for how clouds are made and how they accumulate in the skies and how the rain falls and how it comes down and all the different types of clouds and different types of rains, it's so amazing how these words fit in perfectly with that description. Anyway, li is come for reasoning, right? It's a preposition, harf jar, reasoning, li, reason. Nukhrija, so that. Nukhrija is we bring out, we take out. So it's a present verb. And notice, anzalna is the past, nukhrij is present. So what do we call this? We call this iltifat. So iltifat has taken place over here. Allah is the one who's doing all of this. So Allah is using iltifat over here, shifting from a past tense to a present tense to keep the reader engaged in what's happening, as though it's happening right before his eyes. Linukhrija. It's like it's happening right there. Bihi. Now the word bihi here is a preposition, harf jar. It comes for either due to, right, reason, or with. So linukhrija bihi can either mean due to it or with it. Bihi. Right, so the he actually can go back to the ma, the water itself that comes from the sky. Right, so we have this bihi. Now this bihi is actually being brought forward. It should have been right at the end over there. linukhrija habban wa nabatan wa jannatin alfafan bihi. Habban is an indefinite word over here. It's a nakira. Nabatan is the same, and jannatin is the same as well. Only difference is jannat has an adjective next to it. Jannatin alfafa. Okay, so we have the word habban is number one. Number two, we have nabatan. So it's like starts off as a seed. Nabatan means like a plant. And number three is jannatin. It means like a beautiful garden. Yes, a lush garden is called a jannat. So you have this order. Notice this order, this progressive order that it creates in your mind. Like your mind goes from a seed, and then you think of a plant that's growing, and then all of a sudden you think of a whole big garden, jannah, a lush botanical gardens in your mind. Right. So this is deliberate. This creates the imagery, the order over here of this. All right. So the sequencing is an extremely important thing as well. So habban is actually made up of three letters, you can say. Habban. Right? I mean, you can possibly even say four. Jannat, nabat is five, you can say. Jannat is, let's say five. Should we say five? Right? I guess put five there. So it's five letters. And the word alfafan is 6 letters over there. So, this is just random. I'm not being exactly precise. But you think about this. Starts off with 3, then 5, then 11. So there is a progression over there, progressiveness, how it moves, how it shifts, how it kind of, the letters increase in number, and this deliberately has an effect on the listener as well. So when the listener is listening to this, it does have an effect on how the number of letters is also increasing as well. So all of these are devices of balagha, without a doubt, devices of balagha. The waws over here, we know what the waws are, wasal, joining things together. So this joining together is also something which is important as well in having sequence, having succession as well. Right. So let's highlight some of these words. So here's some imagery I want to show you. So mu'sirat is part of the imagery. Thajjajan is part of the imagery. Anzalna is part of the imagery. Nukhrij is part of the imagery. Alfafan, all kind of intertwining, you can say. Mixed together. Al-laffa yaluffu means to be wrapped around something. All of these create imagery in the mind, things that you already have in your mind, and then you kind of project them onto these words as well. So it has a very strong connection. Vivid images are created in the mind. So now let's just point out the balagha point. So number 1, you got anzalna, we. Number 2 is we. Number 3 is taqdeem, bringing forward. Number 4, you can say, is the removal of a word. Number 5 is the meaning of the asr, the squeezing. It's also a part of an imagery as well. Number 6 is the feminine sound, plural feminine, which has the meaning of multiple things. And number 7 is the multiple meanings of mu'sirat. Number 8 is the severity, the imagery that's created by the thajjajan. And notice, this surah is about something which is Naba Azim, yeah? So keep that in your mind. Naba Azim. So therefore, the words that are going to be in this surah are going to be of a very strong, powerful kind of words that are going to be used in this surah. Not just normal words, they're going to be slightly more excessive, you can say. Right, so you got the hyperbole. Number 9, you got the reasoning, you got the iltifat, nukhrija, you got number 12, the taqdeem, words brought forward. Number 13, the multiple meanings of the ba being used over here and all of them implying. Number 14 is the indefiniteness of these words. Number 15, you have the wasal, the wows being used over here. And number 16, you have these progressive numbers of letters in the habban, nabatan, right? You also have many other things as well in here. And the point of this is I don't want to kind of exhaust all the possible balagha or the balagha used over here. That's not the aim. The aim is to introduce you guys to how sophisticated the words of the Quran, the sentences in the Quran are. Right? So I hope this is what you guys get out of this, that you see that the Quran is not just a nice melodious verses or words, poetry. It's actually something which is very, very powerful and serious. Okay, so number 1, what kind of balagha points have we got? We got wasal over here, so let's mark that in there. You got number 2, we've got also iltifat, let's mark that in there as well, so let's mark off the iltifat. Number 3, we've also got the hadf. Hadf is removal of words. Number 4 is we've got the usage of the plurals, okay, the effect of the plurals over there, various types. Number 6, we've got the usage of the wujuh, multiple meanings, right? So at one time you can multiple meanings of a word. Number 6, we also have the usage of the ta'leel, right? So ta'leel, so the reasoning, the causality that's been mentioned there as well. This is also something Allah wants us to kind of think about why He's doing all of this for. What is the reason for creating this whole system? Number 7, and stay with me to the end, because I'm going to show you a big picture of how this surah kind of beautifully kind of creates this whole system in our minds. Number 7 is taqdeem, bringing words forward. Number 8 is the tartib, the order, right, that we have of habban, nabatan, jannatin. Number 9 is also the endings of the words, which some people call saja', and we're going to call it fawasil, or the endings, the sounds sajjaja, nabata, alfafa. Okay, and number 10, can we squeeze it in here? Yes, we can. Tasweer. Tasweer is imagery, the powerful imagery. You replace these words with other words, like for example, you used to replace anzalna with any other word, or mu'sirat, you just say sahab. Akhrajna min as-sana. I mean, akhrajna is imagery as well. I'm trying to think of something else. Amtarna min as-sahab ma'an kathiran. Amtarna min as-sahabi ma'an kathiran. Now you see how that is different from anzalna min al-mu'sirati ma'an thajjajan. Even the sounds of the letters themselves are very heavy in the mouth as well. Mu'sirat, thajjaja. Right? This is the beauty of the words of the Quran. Raddul a'jaz ala sudur. So this is actually, you can only understand this if you understand the beginning of the chapter as well. Beginning of the chapter, if you remember, we mentioned the verse, Alam naj'alil arda mihadan. So the earth was mentioned there, right? Now, the secret of a good talk is that you start off with a topic and then you come back to it. You do a full circle. So the verse at the end comes back to linukhrija bihi habban, that we take out seeds and plants and gardens. Where did we take it out from? The earth, isn't it? So you come from the earth and you go back to the earth again. So this whole cycle has been achieved 360 degrees. Now, I want to show you this. Look at these verses, okay? So the first verse that we looked at when it came to after Kalla sata'lamun is the one, Alam naj'alil arda mihadan, right? Didn't we make the earth a bedding, soft bedding? Wal jibala awtadan, right? So you got the first verse, it moves on to the next verse, the mountain. So you start from the earth, then you go upwards towards the mountains. Your eyes are kind of like. Then it's interesting, over here, all of a sudden Allah says, خَلَقْنَاكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا. We created you in groups or pairs. All of a sudden, after the mountains, we're in the focus now. So we're on the screen now, or on the scene. And then it goes back to the order of nature. جَعَلْنَا نَوْمَكُمْ سُبَاتًا. So then Allah says that we made your sleep a break for you guys, right? So this idea of sleep, humans having this ability to be able to sleep, is a bounty from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then we have the وَجَعَلْنَا لَيْلَ لِبَاسًا. So after sleep, you need the nighttime. So nighttime has been created, and this sleep occurs in the nighttime, most cases. So there's that order as well of sleep. So it kind of fits in perfectly. You got like the earth, and then you move to the mountains, and then all of a sudden you're being created in all groups. And then you can imagine like humans traversing across the earth, and then you have this idea of humans having to stop off and go to sleep, having rests, and then this nighttime system being created for their sleep. They could have slept in the day, but for some reason humans prefer to sleep at night. So night has been created for that. The nahar, the daytime, is where you earn, you make a living, you find food for yourselves, you work. So then the order after night comes day, right? That sequence there. Okay, then after that we have after the day. Now this is interesting. After the day, what's mentioned here is the skies, isn't it? So banayna, we built above you sab'an shidadan, seven mighty. Hadaf has taken place. Seven mighty what? Now, someone might argue the different levels of the atmosphere. Someone might argue there's 7 skies up there, right? But it's very interesting how if you look at the day, and then all of a sudden in the day, you think of the sky, don't you? Your mind goes towards the sky, because in the sky, what is there in the sky? There is the sirajan wa hajan. So وَجَعَلْنَا سِرَاجًا وَحَاجًا, we made the siraj, the lantern, wahajan, the glowing lantern, which is the sun we were referring to. So جَعَلْنَا سِرَاجًا وَحَاجًا, all of a sudden our mind from the sky goes to the most visible object in the middle of the day, is the sun, goes towards the sun. Then this sun must have some sort of an effect on the atmosphere. It must have an effect on the atmosphere. Allah is mentioning this, and so He says after this, وَأَنزَلْنَا مِنَ الْمُعْصِرَاتِ, we send down from the mu'sirat مَاءً ثَجَّاجًا, gushing water, right? So you have this idea of gushing water coming down from the skies. So this idea of the sun having some sort of a connection with this water coming down, mu'sirat, the squeezing, the atmosphere becoming dense, and then water, gaseous water becomes liquid water. These are all things, subhanAllah, how it fits in nicely with the sequence of nature. لِنُخْرِجَ بِهِ حَبًّا وَنَبَاتًا وَجَنَّاتٍ أَلْفَافًا, right? So that we bring out from it habban, seeds, nabatan, plants, and jannatin is just gardens that are all wrapped around each other. Yeah, plants and trees and foliage and all sorts of things wrapped around each other. It's like if you look at it, it all looks as though it's all wrapped together. Now, look at how it starts off. See, the way I've deliberately done like this as well. Starts off from the earth, right? And then it goes all the way up into the sky. So number 1 is the أَلَمْ نَجْعَلْ الْأَرْضَ مِهَادًا جِبَالَ أَوْتَادًا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا. Number 4. Number 5. جَعَلْنَا اللَّيْلَ لِبَاسًا. Number 6. وَجَعَلْنَا النَّهَارَ. Now look at this. Number 7. Subhanallah. Number 7 is precisely بَنَيْنَا فَوْقَكُمْ سَبْعًا شِدَادًا. It's like that word was just perfectly fit in the 7th sequence. It's the 7th one in line, and it's just like perfectly fits in with 7, sab'an. And it goes up to the sky, and then all of a sudden it has to come down now. So جَعَلْنَا سِرَاجًا وَحَاجًا أَنزَلْنَا مِنَ الْمُعْصِرَاتِ مَاءً ثَجَّاجًا, 9. And then لِنُخْرِجَ 10. وَحَبًّا وَنَبَاتًا. Right, so you just make that 10, and جَنَّاتٍ أَلْفَافًا. You can make that 10 really, only 10. But you see how it works, how it kind of all fits together. Beautifully sequenced, precise, precision. It's like sometimes I look at the Quran, and to me it seems like a cell. You're looking at a cell under a microscope. Everything fits in perfectly, and how the body all works together and functions. So it starts off from the ground, right? Autad, and then you got azwaj, right? Khalaqnaka azwajan. This is like the one that just fitting us into the whole picture of nature. And then you got the nawmakum subatan, and then you got the libasan, and then you got the ma'ashan, and then you got the sab'an shidadan, and then sirajan wahajan, mu'sirat ma'an thajjajan, habban nabatan, jannatin alfafan. Right, see how it all fits in, subhanallah. And this is what I want people to be able to appreciate in the Quran, and much more. This is what I want them to see. So how does this fit in with the whole, what is it trying to prove basically? The Quran is proving the issue of Naba'un Azim. They were arguing over whether the Day of Judgment and Resurrection, bringing people back is going to happen. Is this possible? So has Allah proved this here? So is the Day of Judgment possible? So by Allah showing all of this, in other words, if these are all possible things, if this is plausible, how Allah has created this whole system, this regenerating system that Allah has created, isn't it possible to regenerate the bodies again, to bring them back? So I hope you guys have benefit from this, and inshallah more videos are coming, inshallah. Thank you very much guys for watching this video, and again thank you to all my patrons as well for all your support. Jazakumullah khair, may Allah reward you immensely. If you guys want to become a patron, then links in the description below. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.